So first thing I see is I see a lot of people fall in love with the first person they meet out here.
Okay.
Especially if that person speaks English. I am not exempt from this. This happened to me too. That's why I have first-hand knowledge of this. And I was just having a conversation with Dom about
Yeah,
this.
we were just talking about this.
And I would say a lot of people, men and women, the first Brazilian that hug them tight, kiss them slow, and cook for them, whatever, and do their little thing, they latch on to them, you know. And so my challenge to everybody is like, hey, look, like, you just got here. If you're gonna be here for how much time, get to know a few other people, you know. Just because you just happen to meet that one person that one day, and y'all kind of hit it off, whatever it looks like for you, doesn't necessarily mean that they're the one or they're a person you should be in a relationship with. That also doesn't mean they're a bad person, but keep your eyes open, because I done seen some things out here.
Okay, I was going to ask you about the dating situation down here, because that's a big thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hard to date in Salvador Bahia, Brazil? Is it things you should look for? Or like you were saying before, you're going to have to learn some of the language, because it's going to be hard for you if you don't know the language.
All right. How deep do you want to go into this one?
You go in it pretty deep so people can understand, because that's a big thing. People, when they leave countries, when you leave to come to another country to hang out, either you're looking for a better place to live, looking for a so-called better relationship, or try something outside of the norm that you're not used to from your home country, or you just traveling because you want to experience the culture, the food, the music, the way of life, because people do stuff totally different in Brazil than we do in the U.S.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here we go. Eu não quero falar nada polêmico, viu? Então, se você é brasileiro ou brasileiro ouvindo, vai falar com cuidado, viu? All right, so what I would say is, as far as the dating scene here, a couple things. This is things I just see in my vast experience of the last few years, meeting a lot of tourists, a lot of people that are just popping around, men and women. So first thing I see is I see a lot of people fall in love with the first person they meet out here.
Okay.
Especially if that person speaks English. I am not exempt from this. This happened to me too. That's why I have first-hand knowledge of this. And I was just having a conversation with Dom about this.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
And I would say a lot of people, men and women, the first Brazilian that hug them tight, kiss them slow, and cook for them, whatever, and do their little thing, they latch on to them, you know. And so my challenge to everybody is like, hey, look, like, you just got here. If you're gonna be here for how much time, get to know a few other people. You know, just because you just happen to meet that one person that one day and y'all kind of hit it off, whatever it looks like for you, doesn't necessarily mean that they're the one or they're a person you should be in a relationship with. That also doesn't mean they're a bad person, but keep your eyes open. Because I done seen some things out here. That's my first thing. Now, the next thing I would say is, you know, for men dating women, they're still women at the end of the day, right? So it's not like there's some unicorns, okay? They all got their own thing, and they're all different women, right? So just because they're here doesn't mean they're more docile or more submissive. It doesn't mean they're gonna be loud and aggressive either. You know, you gotta just take it for what it is. So I would say, like, don't lead with stereotypes in your head, because you can be looking at situations with rose-colored glasses, and you can miss out on some red flags. You know, like if you wouldn't date a woman who only had a high school diploma in the United States, why would you do that when you come down here? You know, if you wouldn't date a woman who didn't have a car or didn't have X, Y, and Z, you know, just as an example, you know, don't lower that, whatever that standard is, because there are women that can meet those standards here as well. So it's something to think about. You know, there's nothing wrong with dating these girls either. The girls that work at McDonald's or the girls that don't have a car. It always depends on you, but I would just say, that's my challenge to guys is like, just, hey, you know, you don't have to go for the low-hanging fruit. What else would I say? And then next thing I would say is, you know, wherever you go, there you are. So just because you go to another country does not mean that the relationship problems that you normally have stop. They don't stop, okay? Because again, you're dealing with another person. You're the common denominator in all these things. So unless you have changed in some ways, you're gonna experience the same situations that you dealt with at home.
Yeah, they need to hear that because a lot of people don't. They think that the way like a lot of YouTubers of what is it, food spooning spooning them the
spoon feeding.
Yeah, the content that your problem's gonna go away because you date a girl in another country. It's gonna have problems. If you date another guy, it goes for the woman too. If they date another guy in another country, they gonna still have problems too. It doesn't go away because you.
Yeah, it's still humans. These are all humans. It's still men and women that you're dealing with. You know, like something might be a little different. Like, oh, it can be novel. There's some novelty there, right? Because y'all are new and both y'all are exotic to each other and everything. But at the end of the day, you still got to communicate. You still got to be intimate, develop intimacy, and whatever those ways look like. You're gonna have to find some type of common ground outside the bedroom. You know, so as far as people who want to get in relationships, but a lot of that comes down to conversation. You know, that's what goes back to language.
Yep, the language.
You know, if you don't have some level of language skill or wanting to learn the language, you're gonna have some hard times just losing stuff in translation. You know, let me give you an example. Claro, which means clearly. In English, if I said, "Hey Dom, would you like a drink?" and Dom says clearly, I'm gonna be like, "Hey bro, you got an attitude? Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
But claro is just like, of course. But when we literally translate claro for clearly, you might have an issue, right? And now you bucking.
Yeah, with the person you with
over something that
wasn't even no problem.
Because you was lost in translation. So that happened a lot too, right? But imagine if y'all don't speak the same language, it gets even worse. You know, same thing with culture. Like Americans can be quite sarcastic. That don't fly in Brazil. You know, sarcasm ain't really the thing
to do.
Yeah, they don't like that. You know, so the jokes that we say can be
kind of offensive.
Can be quite offensive to Brazilians, but for us, it's a joke.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm speaking for me and Don, the Americans, but there's some cultural differences there that you won't notice unless you're paying attention. So, it's things to think about. But like I said, like whatever problems you got at home, you're gonna have here, in one shape, one form or another. You know, oh man, these girls, they gold diggers. All these guys just want to have sex with me. Well, you're gonna probably run into the same thing down here. Whatever your problems are, you're not gonna run away from them. They come with you.
They're not gonna magically go away.
Nah.
I was gonna ask you now, because I know they always asking this question. They always, what do they have to do to stay in the country? Now, if they like Brazil, they come here. They come as a passport bro, but then they transform into an expat. What do they have to do? What can keep them in the country? What do they have to do to keep themselves in the country?
So now with Lula, he's changed the requirements. You're gonna have to get a visa again for Canada, United States, New Zealand, and like somewhere
Japan
else.
Or something.
Japan. You're gonna have to have a visa. So I had this back in the day when I first came here. Then I applied for a visa through the consulate. It's a tourist visa. It'll cost you about $150, something like that. Check the consulate, the Brazilian consulate website for up-to-date information. But as of right now, I think you have to get a visa. Now, for me, I have a digital nomad visa.
How can they get that?
Again, you got to go through the Brazilian consulate. It's a pretty straightforward process. Now, I'm a business owner, so I went through the process, and it was easy for me because I didn't have to ask permission. You need to show how much money you make. You need to make at least $1,500 a month, and you got to have $1,500 a month for the last 3 months in income, or you need to have $18,000 liquid in the bank account. So either one of those is one of the requirements. You got to pass a criminal background check, fingerprints. What else got to get done? You got to do a full documentation. You have to get permission from your employer in writing plus signature, saying that you can work remote. And you do all that, and you turn it all into the consulate with your passport. You wait, they say yes, you get a visa.